The deadline to pay back pandemic loans offered as a lifeline to small businesses is fast approaching. The money is due January 18th, and local leaders are urging the federal government to extend it to the end of the year, calling this a life or death moment for thousands of small businesses.
Our business is going to go under from this. It's a death by 1,000 cuts. So for many businesses, yes, absolutely.
A sector struggling to bounce back from pandemic losses is making a desperate plea for an extension on a pandemic loan. The federal government's Canada Emergency Business Account, or CEBA, offered interest-free loans of up to $60,000 to small businesses during COVID-19 lockdowns. 900,000 businesses across Canada signed on, but a quarter of them say they won't be able to secure the funds by the January 18th due date. How big a difference will it make to extend this deadline by a year?
I think for a lot of businesses, especially in the restaurant business, it's life and death.
The federal government already pushing the deadline back twice. Businesses that pay the loan back before Thursday could see up to $20,000 of the loan forgiven. Loans that are not paid back will begin to accrue interest, but wouldn't have to be paid back for 3 years. Some members of the public watching may say, it's been 3.5 years. Why haven't they been able to pay back this loan yet?
It's not a light switch for many of these industries. You can't just turn it back on and things are going to return to normal.
Small businesses are saying they will not be able to keep their doors open. This sector is going to get hit hard.
Ontario NDP leader Mart Stiles joined local business leaders at St. Lawrence Market Monday to urge the federal government to extend the deadline and to call on the Ford government to apply pressure.
Where is the Premier? He needs to step up. He needs to call the federal government right now and say you need to act quickly.
A spokesperson in the Premier's office tells us the Premier has continuously spoken out, including by writing to the Prime Minister.
A letter that was signed by all the premiers back in October is just not going to cut it.
Restaurants Canada estimating 1 in 5 restaurants across the country are at risk of closing.
The reality is behind the scenes that every aspect of operating a restaurant has become extraordinarily expensive in the last couple of years, and it is making this deadline even more frightening for most of our operators.
In a statement, a spokesperson for the Federal Minister of Finance tells us, the bottom line is that if you are a small business and do not currently have the funds to repay your CEBA loan, you now have 3 years to repay it in full. The additional flexibility that we announced is significant support for small businesses who might still be struggling to make ends meet. For City News, I'm Tina Yazdani.